Okay, so we've moved arms now and we're here with Bruce Taylor of RSHYR. Bruce, we've been interviewing you for many years now. I decided eventually to stop interviewing you, and that was the only race the one major race that you won. So you're very generous in acceding to talking to you again. Tell us a bit about this forecast. It's a bit of a tricky one for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's very similar to one about 5 years ago where hard running and then a change. And unfortunately for us, it looks like the change may come just a little too early. So we're hoping the predictions are a little slow. And I guess the objective is to get down as far south as you can, as quickly as you can. And hopefully we can get round the bottom before the southerly comes. If we can do that, I think we're in pretty good shape. But if we wind up having to beat the last sort of 20 miles, then suddenly you're just losing hours to everyone who's gone ahead of you. But equally, the other smaller boats behind us are going to have more of a problem. So it's all about timing, I think.
And presumably one of the issues is that wind just goes on building and building, is just sort of pacing and just not pushing too hard. Is that right?
It's a very fine line, isn't it? You want to get down there as quick as you can, but you got to be able to finish the race. So I think the tricky thing with this one is going to be the gusts. It's a very short, sharp change. So we'd anticipate some really gusty conditions going down the Tassie coast. And they're the ones that sort of catch you out. You're getting along in 20 knots and then suddenly it's up to 40 knots. And if you get everything off, you're back to 20 knots. If you don't get the gear down, you do a lot of damage and the race could be over. So it'll be tricky. I think the really heavy stuff for most of us is going to be in daylight hours, which is good. I think the Bass Strait crossing should just be fast and furious, but it's that bottom half of the Tassie coast I think will be difficult. It'll be gusty, and we just hope that changes about 2 hours later than what is currently predicted.
Well, good luck and look forward to seeing you in Hobart.
Pleasure, thank you.
Okay, so Bruce Taylor sailing with his son Drew again. I think we've done 25 together or something like that. Pretty amazing. Absolute legend of the Hobart. Had so many divisional wins. Never cracked the big one thus far, but he just keeps coming back. And like all good owners and skippers, I remember interviewing him once when he'd had a particularly frustrating race and just missed out. And he said, when I asked him would he be coming back, and he said, if you ask me now, no. If you ask me once I've had a drink, quite probably. And that's a fairly common one amongst the many skippers. They just seem to be able to forget very quickly the frustration, the exhaustion, and everything else that goes with it. So we're just going to wander down this line here. Got a couple of two-handers, I think, down the end here, and some of the larger cruiser racers. Interestingly, in the two-handers, sadly, we don't have last year's overall winner in Disco Trooper. Unfortunately, they're not able to race for time and other reasons, which is a great shame, because this year any of the two-handers can win on IRC, which is pretty much what's been going on around the world, but which is now part of the Sydney Hobart race, so that's great. And who've we got here? Oh, yep, here's our colleagues in going past Nick Douglas in the other direction. Hey Marina, how are you? So we've got some of the overseas runners here, which is great. Mayfair, yeah baby. You just won't get the name. And Sintara, and of course some of the old legends down the end as well. Who else have we got down the end? Let's just keep wandering. Yeah baby, so there's 2 yeah babies in this race. So this is the TP52, and the other one is the one that Rob Goff and his colleague sailed to the first two-hander in last year. They've swapped out now. They've got a smaller boat, and then there's somebody else is racing the other yeah baby. And here's Zen, the TP52. We've been talking to a few of those guys, of course, along the way. And these guys go well, particularly well inshore. And regular Hobart runners in this boat. And again, you'll see sort of reasonably current generation, wide and beamy, all of the all of the winches, particularly for the A sails at the back behind the wheel. So the guy on the wheel has got really good clear line of sight straight down the deck, no crew in front of him. Behind him will be sitting in front of him sits the guys who are trimming at the front there, and we've got the traveller at the back here, so the main's getting trimmed right down the back, and that basically means that in that downwind running they can get as many people as far aft as possible, keep that bow out, means they can just bear away that bit more on the way down the route. Alright, so I think we are going to call that quits for now. I can't see anybody else, and then